Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. You're in for a real treat today for our music composition recital. If you have seen any of the solo and ensemble recitals that happened this morning, which were amazing, this is quite a bit different. So we don't have any live performances today, but we do have 7 of our music composition students that will be presenting some of their projects that they've been working on over the course of the year. Some of these are projects from the very beginning of the year. Some of them are projects that we just listened to yesterday. So you kind of get the whole perspective. We have our 10 music composition students right up here in the front row. Can you wave your hands? Here they are. 7 of them are going to be presenting today. And like anything, when you get up on stage and you present some work that you've been doing, especially anything that is kind of artistic, it's nerve-wracking to have your creations being shown to an audience. I know from our recitals this morning that we've had amazing audiences that have been really receptive and supportive and also attentive as well. And so I know that we'll have that for our music composition students here as well today. So just a little bit about this, as long as we've had digital music in Oregon High School, we have had this recital as part of Fine Arts Week. So I want to tell you just a little bit about what we do in class, and then we will listen to the performances. So music composition is all about creating your own music. And for us, it means putting it down in a digital platform. We use Finale, it's music notation software. You may have used MuseScore or Flat or Sibelius. We use Finale here at Oregon High School. And these students have been working on different assignments or different projects throughout the year that all have a different goal in mind. So we'll tell you a little bit about what they were trying to achieve with each of these pieces as we listen to them. So we learn a variety of different styles, forms, different compositional techniques to help create the ideas that they have in their head and put it down on the page. And then as a class, we will present our pieces to each other. We'll listen, we'll give positive feedback, we'll give some critique, and that leads to helping us for our next compositions. So with that, we'll get started right away with Kelvin. Kelvin, if you want to come on up.
So I composed a song in the brass quintet, which is 2 trumpets, a trombone, a horn, and a tuba. And there's 2 different options for that, which is a chorale, which is more kind of slow and melodic, and then a fanfare, which is what I composed, which is sort of like an introductory theme, a bit more like faster sometimes, not always. My song is called Bombardier, and it's inspired by World War I bomber planes. And it's not very it's a dark song in the fact that it's from the perspective of the bombers, and that sort of thing to think about.
Excellent. Next up, we have a very different piece. This is a theme and variation. So there's one main idea, and then it's varied. And the goal of this assignment was to pick a children's song, and then theme and variation from that. So here's Phoebe.
Yeah, so if you couldn't tell, I chose the song You Are My Sunshine. Growing up, my mother would sing this song to me and my sister, and I hold it very close to my heart. But some of the variations that I did was like change the length of the notes and the actual notes to make it like higher and stuff. But yeah, so enjoy.
Okay, next up we have Chris with another theme and variation.
Yeah, so the song is written for a wind quintet, which is a flute, a horn, a bassoon, and a clarinet and an oboe. And I wrote 3 variations which are all loosely based on a little theme I invented. Thanks.
Okay, next up we have Winter, and with this assignment we were talking about timbre. Timbre is kind of like the way each instrument will sound different. So much like human voices have different sounds and textures, it's the same thing with instruments. So this assignment was exploring timbre in music. Here's Winter.
So what we did for this assignment was we basically pulled an emotion out of a hat, like joy or sadness, and then had to make a piece around that emotion. The emotion I pulled was pain, which the instruments I chose, flute, lyre, and bells, are not like the usual depiction of pain, but I hope it feels like evident in the way the piece is. Two other notes. One, all the notes are intentional. And two, for some reason, if you have a lyre on the first beat of a song, the audio peaks, so sorry about that, I can't fix it.
Okay, our next three compositions here are exploring the idea of expression in music. So how do you express the thoughts and feelings that you have through sound? And for this, each of the students selected a piece of artwork that they then tried to convey through music. So we'll have each one of them kind of explain why they picked that piece of artwork and what to listen for in the music. So first up, we have Will.
So to begin, I started with this idea of having like instruments inspired by the ocean. Specifically, the horn, when it glissandos, it sounds a lot like whale song, which is what I built this piece around. So if you focus on that, and the other instruments just kind of depict like the ocean, like background animals and characters in that piece. Listen for the horn, and that's kind of what I built the whole thing around.
can definitely hear the whale sounds in that one. I think you nailed it, Will. Our next one is by Drew Hill, and we don't have a visual, an audio visual for this one, so we'll have Drew kind of explain his process for creating his composition.
So unfortunately, I don't have sheet music for it. But I started with sheet music, and then I thought of the idea to use real instruments to get a good sound and a better sound. Because the program we use doesn't have the best sounds, and I just wanted to put myself in the music. I wanted to play the instruments myself and put it in the song. And the piece itself is about an art piece called Red Fish Stream by Olga Nikitina. The piece is basically supposed to convey the ocean and the waves and the fish, and you'll hear that in the high piccolo, the 16th notes. That's to represent the fish swimming. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we have one more for you. Here is Riley to talk about her composition.
I also did an expressions piece for Starry Night over the Ronin, and I use like more quiet instruments because it's like peaceful, I guess, in my opinion. And the part that I want you guys to listen to is the glockenspiel, like, because it represents like the lights, in my opinion.
Give it up for all of our composers one more time. Thank you so much for being a good audience. We have a little bit of time left over, and I think we'll open it up for some Q&A. And composers, if any of you would like to answer one of the questions, you certainly can. So are there any questions that you have for our student composers about their compositions? Anything you're wondering about? Yes?
How did the guy who made the lead fish one, how did you do those bubble sounds, like the water sounds and stuff?
Yeah. Drew, do you want to talk to that? So the question was, with the water composition, the red fish composition, how do you get the water sounds?
Like, that was supposed to be hard to create because of like bubbles and stuff, so like how do you do those sounds?
It surprisingly wasn't actually that hard. I think I just got an MP3 off of YouTube, and then just put that into the piece.
Do you use YouTube to get the bubble sounds?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I have a question for you as well, Drew. Did you play all the instruments that...
So, no, I did not play all the instruments. However, I did play the percussion part and the marimba part. The rest of the instruments were realistic VSTs, which are like these synthesizers that use actual live sounds. But yeah.
That's cool. This song was really good.
Thank you.
Other questions? Gotta have something. Yes? Yep, go ahead.
Prompt inspired you the most when you're composing?
What? Can you say it one more time?
Or like theme inspired?
Sure. Does anyone want to talk to this? What theme or what theme inspired you?
Hello. I'm Lee. I didn't present. Hello. say like when writing about like your own emotions, it's a lot easier to like become inspired, you know? Because it's a very personal experience and only you know what you're feeling. So I think it's a good way to portray to other people what you're thinking. Anyway.
He makes a good point. Emotion does help when you're writing, but I don't really feel like a whale at times. So it's kind of like if you have a concept in mind as well. Like, Calvin's never been a bombardier, but he had a concept and he had an idea and he stuck with it. So if you have like one thing in mind and you just keep going with that throughout a piece, it's also a lot easier than just create nothing from nothing.
We had another question over here. Yeah. Okay, how do you decide what paintings you wanted to use for the assignments here?
For me, I honestly just like Google search like cool paintings, and mine was like it was called like fairy tale, I don't know. But it was, yeah, I just Googled it, and whatever popped up that I liked, I chose, so.
Baby, you're awesome.
Thanks, Allie.
I actually had the idea for like the instruments I was going to use before I found the painting, so which wasn't what we were supposed to do, but
When I did the painting assignment, I picked my favorite painter, Salvador Dali. You know the one with the tall, like elephant things. I did that. You kind of choose instruments based off that too. So like a desert song, choose like desert sounds.
Any other questions? Yes, in the back. So the question is, how many compositions a semester? First semester, a lot of the compositions are much shorter. Think of them as kind of like exercises in learning how to compose. And then the second semester, I believe we have 5, 6, 7. It depends on the year for how many compositions. Yes?
My question's for Winter. Did you, when you drew out Pain, did you think, I'd rather reach back in and grab something different, or are you okay with leaving like unresolved chords and all that like eeriness?
So the thing is, I actually, the first one I pulled I didn't like, so I actually threw it back and then grabbed the second one, which was Pain.
Okay.
So that meant I was stuck with it. And the thing I was going in, like, I knew Will did Pain the previous year, 2 years ago, and I was like, I wanted to be like totally distinct. So I was like, here, what if I just like pick some things that like sound the opposite of it, and then try to make it work from there, which is how I ended up with the flute, lyre, and bells.
We have time for 1 or 2 more questions. Yes?
Yes, this is a question for Winter. What inspired you to use the lyre?
Okay, that one, again, with the idea of trying to think of like the opposite of like the traditional idea of pain, was like, flute is like the highest rated instrument I kind of blow. And then like, and the lyre, because it's like, you think of lyres as like, used by the angels and like things of peace. And that is, again, like the counter opposite of pain.
Final question? Yes, we have one more here.
Okay, so I know how a lot of people get like writing block, creative block. Have you guys ever gotten that, and how did you get through it?
So the question is about writer's block, and I think all of them would like to answer because that happens pretty much every day. We'll start down here. We'll go Calvin and Wes.
When I have writer's block, I stop working on the project and I do something else. Probably for the rest of class, and then I come back the next day.
So I get writer's block basically for every piece because I don't really know how to read sheet music, so I kind of just put a bunch of things down and hope it sounds good and then listen to it. So either I'll ask for help, like the last piece that I wrote, Mr. Calloway helped me a lot with it, and then gave me an idea and I just kind of ran with it.
One thing you can do is you can try and expand on an idea that you had before, or you can start over. Like if you're already like close to the beginning and you're not liking what you're doing, you can save it, keep it for later, because you can always come back to it and work on that piece at a later date. But always expanding on ideas that you've had is super helpful way to get it as well.
Some of the pieces, I like the pain one. I had an idea, I got it down, and then like immediately came out. And then some other ones, like the one like we're doing right now, I could not get a single idea to stick, and it was like weighing on me. I kind of just like forced my way through it. It probably wasn't the best way of doing it, but I just like put down notes repeatedly until I got one that I liked, and then until I got a melody I liked, and then just went from there. Like it probably wasn't the best way of doing it, but it worked.
Yeah, the last two pieces we did were like a woodwind quintet and a brass quintet, and I think I have like 10 pieces like in my thing called quintet or quintet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I could not find one I liked, and I just had to keep doing it over and over again. So I was working on trying to figure out an idea for like a week, but it worked eventually.
For me, I get writer's block every single time I write a new thing. So what I do is I just start putting notes down, and I go from there, and then it'll just come to me, and I'll just be like, ooh, I like this, let's add this. And then it'll just the gears will keep going. But yeah.
All right. Thank you for the great questions, everyone. We are out of time. Thank you for being an awesome audience. Have a great rest of the day.